Right guys, we're going to finish this video off with a quick history of racings. I tried doing this in my first ever video. I were a mile away from camera were a bit further back. I had a few bikes set up here in the same area. I've sussed out a problem while I've been doing this, is bikes are too small, I'm too tall, can't fit us both in the same frame, so I'm always kneeling down. It's hard enough just to fit a bike in the frame, to be honest with you, and then if I stand up, you can't see me, so now I'm looking at the screen outside when I should really be looking at the lens. So anyway, this bike here is a 1954 Daytona Domiracer replica made by Norton. And basically it's got a lot of parts on it that Grandad would have owned at one point. I know that sounds like mind-blowing, it does, it's really hard to explain. I think I'm going to try and think of a way of explaining it in like modern day terms. One for the bike guys, one for the car guys and girls. Basically, so what Grandad did, so say if it was today, you've got like HRC Honda, if you're a bike person, and you've got like M-Class BMWs if you're a car person. So what Grandad did, Grandad bought that division. He bought the HRC off Honda, or he bought the M-Class off BMW, which is the Manx part of Norton. Bought the race department off them. He didn't buy it directly off them. He bought it, it had been sold a few times. So imagine if HRC Honda closed down now, and say someone like Yoshimura or someone wanted to buy the bikes, they wanted that race department. Honda's completely going, it's getting parted out everywhere. Or BMW's getting parted out, and one of the touring car companies or something like that want to keep hold of them M-Class BMWs or the HRC Hondas. That company then buys just that race department. So that happened, Colin Seeley bought it, I think. Colin Seeley bought it off Norton. Norton were going closed. And Colin Seeley bought it because he wanted these Dominator stuff, he wanted these Dommy engines. So he bought it, just took the Dommies. So that's like buying M-Class and then only wanting the M3s. So they bought all the M-Class, took the M3s out of it and then put it back up for sale to sell the M5s off. I don't know how you'd put that in. So you bought HRC, someone bought HRC like Yoshimura or something. They just want Mark Marquez's bike, they want that RCV 211V. RC, I'm sure that's about right. I think the 213Vs or something now, aren't they? Whatever they are. They just wanted Mark Marquez's bike. They didn't want Tony Bowles, Repsol, Trials bikes or whatever. So they just took them out and then they put everything else back up for sale. So that's what happened. Colin Seeley bought all the Manx stuff, but he wanted the Dommy stuff. He wanted the Dominate Racer stuff out of the race department. So he took it all. Took all the bits he wanted out of it, which were mainly, like I say, just the engines and stuff like that. Then he put it back up for sale. John Tickle bought it. He wanted it for the Manx Nortons, for the 500 Manxes. So he built a load of stuff off the back of it. He bought all the drawings, all the tooling, the name, bought it all, bought everything. He sold then all the parts that make up a 500 Manx, and he went bump. So Colin Seeley bought it back again. I don't know what he bought it back for. Maybe just to scavenge some more parts out of it, see what it were left. Put some stuff back into his stock. Then he put it back up for sale again. That's when Grandad bought it. So Grandad then turns up and he bought the name, the drawings, the jigs. And he wanted to start making bits again through Unity's shop, his Cafe Racer shop. So what they had, with all them drawings, I'll probably come and get the camera now. He were making most of this bike, and one of the weird things, I've still got some of the tooling left. My granddad, he bought it in the late 70s, I think, and he sold it in the early 90s, so I'm only about 8-year-old. It was the same year as my dad bought this workshop. My granddad sold Manx Norton, all of it again, to Molnar. Molnar only wanted the drawings, Andy Molnar, because he were a CNC kind of guy he worked in BAE, using CNC milling machines and lathes. So he just wanted all the drawings. He didn't need the sand casting tools and all that kind of old-fashioned way of doing it. He wanted to get all the drawings, cut it all up, press go, machine it all out of billet instead of sand casting stuff. So Grandad managed to keep hold of a few bits, and I've still got a few bits left, but they're only bits like the tiny bits that you might have lost under benches and stuff like that. We've still got a few bits left, everything else completely gone. I've got a few scrappy photocopies of the drawings, but let's have a look. I know the first part, so like Grandad had sold these mud guards, so he managed to get the tooling for them. He sold the mud guard. This little butterfly on the back of this rear loop, I've still got the tool for. Interesting. It's over there on the bench. Grandad would have done the wheels, the hubs. We made the swing arms here in this workshop. He had the frames made off someone else, off a frame maker. The rear sets my dad used to make here in the workshop. Kickstarts, I think my granddad used to have the kickstarts cast. Engines and stuff a bit more in depth. It were more just the parts. So he were having oil tanks made, seats made, petrol tanks made, tank straps, we still make them. He were making the clip-ons, he were having the yokes made, he were having the forks made. I've still got a drawing for the fork bottoms. And there is also a chuck for the lathe over there. Grandad swears that's from the Norton factory, and it was for machining up the fork legs. So they were doing their own machining on fork legs in here as well. There is actually a pattern. The pattern for the fork legs is on eBay, ex-Unity stock. Someone's selling it. Someone's trying to sell the pattern for about £200. Thought about it to just add it onto my shelf, but it's a bit too much money for buying things for the shelf. Front brake plate, he used to sell the wheels, the mud guards, the Y brackets. Pretty much majority of this bike, apart from the engine, I think he was selling, or he were having them made. So I'll get a camera and we'll have a bit of a closer look. Well, sorry about that one. So one quick way of showing you what's going on here is that's a dummy, and then here on back at door, this is what Grandad bought, Manx Norton. So you can see that's the same frame, seat, tank, mud guards, wheels, number board, fly screen, handlebars. It's all the same apart from the engine, pretty much. Oil tank's different as well, but everything else is the same. Obviously exhaust pipe's different because the engine's different. But pretty much everything's the same. There's nothing on there I can show you that's going to be interesting, but yeah, Grandad owned that. Mind blowing. It still blows my mind to this day. It's one of the most iconic bikes in the world. Yeah, my Grandad owned it. It's like... yeah, especially when you're mad into motorbikes, you're just like, there's a Grandad used to own one of the most famous motorbikes in the world. It's insane. Oh, just from a little tiny shop here in Rochdale, Whitworth. Yeah, crazy. That's focusing on the parts behind my head. Next, let's have a look at next. Let's see what we've actually got. Let's compare some items. So this is the most interesting one because I got the tooling back for it the other day. You see that little mudguard bracket? I still make these to this day. These little loops with a butterfly on. But I've been getting these laser cut because I didn't know where the tool was for it. So if we go over here and we have a look on my bench, Grandad's supplier come and give me this back the other day. He's had it for since the 70s. He's had that since the 70s. This is the tool for making them, and it says on it, that bike behind me, remember, is a 1954, and I don't know if you'll be able to see this. Focus is a bit bad, but on there it says 1951 TT. You're not going to get that one. And Manx, blanking part, and then the part number. And up at the top here, you're definitely not going to be able to see that because it's hard to see with my own eyes. It says mudguard fixing plate. Yeah, I can't see that. The other ones then, it's just some more drawing numbers stamped on it. This here is the profile of a Manx mudguard. And you can see on that one, mudguard fixing plate, part 1091 maybe. Some of them numbers that are really faint on there match up with the numbers on the press tool. So that's for chopping them out. That's a punch tool, I should say. This is a press tool, that's for shaping them. And if I took that over there now, you get this right idea. That's been used to form that arc on the mudguard, if you see what I mean. Next bit, so let's go and have a look, see what else I've got on this. So there'll be some more identifying things over here. There's some of the bits I've found upstairs. So that's one of Grandad's Manx yokes. Only one pattern I've got of that. This is a Manx brake. Oh, now I'm losing bits. That's a Manx brake arm. I need to show wasted sparks on that because that's quite rusty. I think that's a Manx brake arm. We'll go and compare it. This is a Manx chain oiler. We'll go and compare it. That one is a Manx brake adjuster. We'll go and compare it. Right, so there are three bits I can see on there.
Let's go and have a look at these now. So I think this bike, it's not going to have a chain oiler on it, I don't think. That should fit. It probably goes on the end of this oil, and it goes in there. It fits inside that chain case there, and it oils your chain, and you have a little tap on it. Well, that's when they're made up. So that's just a blank where it's not been drilled out or machined. This little brake nut is that brake nut down there, you see that? This one's more original than that one is. That's not quite right. I have some of these that have been finished off, machined upstairs. They should be concaved in the middle. And I actually have the wooden pattern, which might be from the Norton factory to make them. I've got the sandcasting pattern. See, that's flat on the back as well. This one's got a bit of an arc on it. So that's that. And then this, oh, yeah, we're in the same place, aren't we? That brake arm is that brake arm. You see what I mean? So that's the same thing. Little Manx brake arm, Manx nut, Manx oiler. Let's see what else I've got a thingy for a chain guard as well. The drawing for that chain guard there. What else? My granddad used to make them head steadies. He'd make these little steering dampener nuts. I say the clip-ons, the yokes. Yeah, a lot of things we'd made. That rear set on that side. Oh, engine plates. Grandad used to own converter engine plates, didn't he? So all the engine plates that go on any cafe racer, your Tritons, your Nortons, your Triumphs, your BSAs. Yeah, Grandad bought them. He used to make them. I've got a mould to make these fiberglass seats upstairs. I've also found the other day, did you see I showed you the chain guard on the opposite side? I found these down here. Well, they were upstairs on a shelf. They're fiberglass moulds for chain guards again. And they're to make like race bike. They're either to make, I think, an old Triumph or a Norton underneath. The shorter ones are Norton. Them bits there. Let's see what else I've got. So it's just to legitimise racings, basically. I think that might be a Manx brake plate. Oh, there is some other Manx. There's some Manx bits in this drawer. These bits, like these are all the Manx rear set arms. I think that's a damper rod for forks. I've got a box full of them somewhere. These are the cams to go inside the brake plates. That's one I've made. That's a little twang the exhaust pipe with. Steering dampeners, got a fair few of them. Oh, they've got this. These are to tie the exhaust pipe to foot brake. They are original. I think they're Manx stock then. I've got one here that Grandad's made. Is it that one? He's got a piece of... Oh no, that's still got the foot peg on it. He's made a sample somewhere that tells you how long they are for each bike. A little tool to tell you how long them arms are. And they're 350 arms. The 500 ones are longer. Same thing, but slightly longer. Can't see anything. There is other Manx bits in there, but they're all tiny. They're tiny. One last thing I'll show you is this, because I know I've got a few friends that are into machining. Apparently Grandad says that that's Norton tooling, and that is to hold a fork leg in. It's got nothing on it to say that it is not from Norton. It don't say Manx on it right like that, but apparently that was used to machine up road holder forks, which kind of makes sense. That's the right bore in it. I say nothing else over here. There is, again, there's other bits, but I just can't think of them off the top of my head. But yeah, there you go. That's a shortish little history. I say at one point, Grandad could pretty much make all that bike, apart from the engine. You'd just go and get a dummy engine though from someone's basement. I was going to say eBay, but they didn't have eBay back in 70s, 80s, 90s, did they? So I'd probably say for about 20 years, possibly, Grandad owned everything that you want to make that. Here's another one, these fork shrouds. I've not made any in years, but that's another one. I've got the jig to make them. These little bits on the top, little fork shrouds on the top, which includes a little spinning that you weld in on the top. I've got the dimensions to make the sleeves, and then Grandad had a little spinning tool. You have to set the spinners, the spinning company, they've got that tool to make the tops of them. Plus a lot of other things as well. I actually need to nip over to that spinning company and see what they've got. You never know, some of them might say Manx Norton on them, and then I want them back. What else can I tell you about it? It's weird now because even though Mona he's like half an hour away in Preston, he's northern like us, so he's up north in England. He owns the majority of this bike, or owns the rights to manufacture it. You don't own it. You can make them if you want. I can tell you why, because this bike, as majority, has come from New Zealand. So there's Summerfield Manxes, they're down south somewhere, Mona Manxes, and there's Macintosh Manxes. So Macintosh in New Zealand has bought an original Manx, I think, and then took all the bits off it and copied them. He didn't need the drawings. He didn't need the drawings. Mona's got all the drawings, and he makes them like to perfection, to the drawing. And you can interchange old bits with new bits. There's also these Works Nortons as well. He remanufactures Norton parts, but his are all neatened up a little bit, so you can't get one of his parts and put it with one of your old parts. They don't interchange, or some of them don't, some of them do. Mona's all guaranteed that you can get one off, a brand new one off the shelf for Mona's, put it in a 1950s bike and they'll all match up. Yeah, and the only bits we own, I don't own any of it anymore. We don't own a single bit. Like I say, I own a couple of little tools that Mona didn't want, and then the rest of it is exhaust pipes. No one owns the rights to the exhaust pipes. Not a single person in the world owns exhaust pipe rights, I don't think. Because they're just tubes, aren't they? They're just tubes for getting smoke out of the bike. It's not that hard, but I do have a lot of patterns. So if you need Norton exhaust, I say there were a couple of guys, an handful, 10 guys or so, were commenting on me flat-sided Manx Mega like I didn't know how to fit one. It's one of the most things I know how to do. It's like me 2 years worth, my arm were aching and I swapped arms. 2 years worth of learning off Grandad. We learned how to make exhaust pipes, how to make silencers, fishtails, and then learn the history of Norton. Basically, because that's what Grandad's most knowledgeable about is Nortons, racing Nortons, Manx Nortons pretty much, but into all the other ones. And he just pretty much, he said, I'll show you the difference between every Norton pipe and every Norton Mega. So Norton pipes and Megas, the race department stuff, I am well down with. You don't need to tell me how to fit a Manx Norton Mega. I've got it down. I could tell you which years they are, how they evolved from one year to the next year to the next to the next to the next. If you come on and ask me for a 55, I'll be like, what, do you want the first one for 55 or last one for 55? They're not that precise on the dates, you know what I mean? Some people were running around in 55 with 54 stuff. Some people, if you were lucky, you were running a 55 bike with 56 stuff. That's how it is. That's still in MotoGP now. There'll be people running... Well, the top team will get 24 bikes, won't they? And they'll have brand new 2024 bikes. The privateers, satellite teams, they'll all get 2023 bikes. As the season goes on, they'll get some of the parts off the 2024 bikes to try it on the 2023 bikes, and the 2024 bikes, Bagnaia and that, they'll get 2025 parts in 2024, basically just to test them for next year. So you don't know, and then you might get through to 2025 and you didn't like the 2025 parts, so you're still running 2024 parts in 2025, or you might even go back a couple of years and get some 2023 parts out, put them on your 2025 bike. Yamaha have been doing that for ages. Let's try going back to that 2015 bike or whatever, start from scratch again. So yeah, it's same with CCMs, same with any race department stuff. The years all cross over. I suppose if you're full works, you're getting all good stuff, and if you're not, you're buying a second-hand bike and you're running a 2020 bike, aren't you, in a 2024 race kind of thing. You might be 4 years out of date. But yeah, that is short history of racing's exhaust, how we got from 1960, Grandad just owning a little motorbike shop, to now being one of the leading vintage exhaust experts in the UK, in the world. Recommended by Motorcycle News, Classic Bike Magazine, and The Vintage Agent. Right, if you like that, you know what to do. Like, subscribe, share. Just share it, man. If you're American, share it. Let's do it. Right, I'm going to pack up, go home, get changed out of these smelly, scruffy clothes, go and sit in doctor's waiting room for a bit. I'll speak to you again tomorrow.